Hello, how are you everybody, especially all Seafarer, Merchant Marine Engine Cadets, and all Maritime Engineering instructors. Today, I will invite you to answer 3 questions about the heater tank of the Merchant Marine main diesel engine cooling system as shown by this picture. Again, today I will invite you all to answer 3 questions about the heater tank of the Merchant Marine main diesel engine cooling system as shown by the picture. These 3 questions are: A. Mention 3 functions of heater tank. Alpha. Mention 3 functions of heater tank. If you can answer correctly, you will get a value of 20. And then the second question, bravo, or B, briefly explain how does the control valve work automatically. Briefly explain how does the control valve work automatically. If you can answer correctly for this question, you will get a value of 40, no 20, 40. And the last question, Charlie or C, please draw the block diagram of the temperature control system as shown in the red picture, red line. Okay. If you can answer correctly for this question, you will get a value of 40, so that if you can answer all of them correctly, you get a total score of 100, and it means you pass. Mention 3 functions of heater tank. This is a question number 1, alpha. To allow the fresh water, firstly is to allow the first answer about the function. To allow the freshwater main engine cooling to expand, for expanding. When there is a change in temperature, to prevent the piping system from bursting and leaking. Bursting or leaking. Again, the first function of the heater tank is to allow the freshwater engine coolant to expand when there is a change in temperature, to prevent the piping system from bursting or leaking. That's why this tank is also called as expansion tank. The heater tank is same with expansion tank, just only name. But the name is related to its function. And then the second function of the heater tank is as a release of air or steam contained in the freshwater cooling. Again, this tank or the heater tank function is as a release of air or steam contained in the freshwater cooling. That's why this tank is also called as ventilation tank. Completely as a air ventilation tank. And the third function is that this tank function as a heater tank. The heater tank, that is the heater tank. What is the meaning of the heater tank? That helps the centrifugal pump circulate freshwater cooling to system. And that's why in the picture you see the name of this tank is the heater tank, because this tank is to help the centrifugal pump to circulate freshwater cooling to the system. Therefore, we often see such tank as the name of expansion tank, ventilation tank, or heater tank. Because of this function, due to this function, because of this function, therefore, we often see such tanks by name as, sometimes you see expansion tank, or maybe ventilation tank, or heater tank. All is the same. And then, question number 2. Briefly explain how does the control valve work automatically. The control valve is pneumatic three-way valve type. This control valve, you see in the picture, control valve, is a pneumatic three-way valve type. Three-way valve type. When the temperature controller receives feedback input that's sent by temperature sensor of freshwater cooling with the desired temperature set by, this control valve is a pneumatic three-way valve type. When the temperature controller receives feedback input that's sent by temperature sensor of freshwater cooling, coming out from the main engine, then after comparing it with the desired temperature set by the set point, it gives a signal to control valve to regulate a flow of freshwater cooling to the freshwater cooler, which is then used to cool the main engine. Again, after comparing the value between input feedback sensed by the temperature sensor of water cooling coming out from the main engine and the value of the set point, desired value, it gives a signal to the control valve to regulate the flow of freshwater cooling to the freshwater cooler, which is then used to cool the main engine. Okay? Now, I will invite you to make diagram block of this system. Firstly, all of us know which one the controller. The controller, because it is the controller for temperature. This control is called as the temperature control, or TC. This controller get a set point for determine the value of the desired value. In this case, the value of cooling water temperature coming out from the main engine, and controlling the process of combustion that resulted the output in the form of temperature. This output is sensed by sensor, temperature sensor. You can look in this picture like a bulb positioned at the fresh water coming out from main engine, and by the transmitting system as the feedback reported or transmitted to the controller. After comparing the value of input feedback that get from the temperature sensor from output and with the set point or desired value, the controller decided if there is deviations or no, and it must be respond to the control valve as the regulator, and then by the regulations of this regulator, the control valve that form of the 3 waistcock will regulate the flow of fresh water cooling to cooler or bypass directly to the main engine, or we can call it as the re-regulation for the new process, fresh water cooler, and then after the new regulations to process and cooler, will make new regulations to the end of process, that is combustion, and resulted output. So, output is the temperature of freshwater cooling coming out from main engine. Controller is a temperature controller that receives reference input from set point and feedback input from output. Set point is desired temperature value, and regulator is the control valve. That is the applied English lesson for today, English lesson 3, for today. Hopefully, we can meet again in practicing English while learning machinery in lesson 3. Smart greeting from me, Lilin Tua.